This is an It Came From GenX video.
Genbo, what you got in world news, baby?
All right. I ran across an article which doesn't surprise me, but I thought it was interesting to discuss, especially with our Gen X topic. So, how do you get your news? How does everyone nowadays get their news? I remember as a kid, you had your news at 6 o'clock in the evening. They didn't have the 4:30 in the morning news. They didn't have the noon news. They didn't have the 3 o'clock news in the afternoon. How it is today, but with today, all you gotta do is go on Facebook, go on Twitter. You're gonna see news, whether it's fake or real. There was a study done over like 50,000 people across the world, and they did age groups from 18 to 30, 35 to 50, 50 to 65, 65 and over. And it was interesting to see where the United States, because you know how the United States is, everyone's got a phone in their hands 24/7. But we ranked actually quite low compared to some of the others. The highest percentage of people that got their news from social media was over in Indonesia and Vietnam. Indonesia, 67% of their people, in Vietnam both at 67%. South Africa and the Philippines were right behind them at 65%. So it's interesting when we started talking about this before the show is that the governments a lot of times dictate the news that's given to the common folk. And you made a great point, Porter, and I'll let you go in on that a little bit further, that it happens here in the United States as well. It's just done in a different way. Now, I've spent a lot of time overseas, and there's, you can see you've got the news, and it looks like a government agency putting the news and letting you see what they want you to hear. And in a lot of ways, the local media, the national media here in the U.S. is the same way. Tell them what you were telling us.
Well, when you let's look at the big news, your Fox News, your CNN, your things like that. One, they consider it your left-wing news, your liberal news. The other one, they consider your conservative news. You can watch the same story on those two networks and get a total different view depending which one you watch. One is a total leftist view, and the other one is a total right view. So, if that's the case, that means somebody is controlling the narrative of each of those major news networks on the local level. The things that you see. Look at the pattern of the news things that you see. It's the same on every network. What sells? Violence, gunshots, robbery, the young black kid with the hat on backwards selling dope. This is what sells. I have a minor in criminal justice, and we were taught that is put on the news on purpose. There is an object that you have to be able to blame crime on, and they call it criminal black man. This is from the University of Akron. One of their top professors taught us this. They have this actual term, criminal black man. It's one word. And they have to put that on the news so that when people start to fear or get angry, this is who you direct your anger at. And we know that's not the case. We know that I've seen it with my own eyes. The drug dealers come in all sorts and shape, sizes, and colors. But this is who we see on the movies, on the TV shows, and whatever. So somebody is directing that narrative. You know what I mean? We don't hear enough of the good stories, the people who do the random acts of kindness. How much of that do we get to hear? All these unbelievable things. Well, we hear all the dark stuff. That means somebody is controlling that. Somebody is saying, this is what we're going to put on the air. So in a sense, we're not too much better than some of these other countries, communist countries or whatever. We're just getting it in more of a passive aggressive way. And as long as we got, a picket fence, a hot dog, and mom's apple pie, people don't pay attention, don't complain, and don't see through it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I was telling you, that with Indonesia at 67%, you got to go all the way down to the U.S. only 30% of the people that they did this poll on actually get their news from the social media. So, kind of odd that it's that low. I'm really surprised that it's that low. But you're absolutely right. When it comes to the narrative, it depends on what news source you use, and it really shouldn't be that way. Absolutely should not be that way. We should be able to get the facts as they're seen, as they're heard, as they're told by whoever it is, and move on. It doesn't matter what color skin the person is. It doesn't matter if it's some white dude out there shooting up a school or if it's some black dude down there shooting up a store. It's the same damn thing. They're both criminals. They're both doing terrible acts. And I don't care what the left thinks or what the right thinks. I want to hear the story. I want to judge for myself and move on. I can't hear you.
The only way to get to the truth of a story, or at least close to it, is to look at independent news sources. Things like NPR News and things like that.
Good point.
I don't watch news on TV at all. Not at all.
Yeah,
I don't watch.
I haven't in a long time.
Yeah, none of it. I get my information. I surf the internet, not social media, but news sources on the internet. And I don't read just one. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to hear the left side, the right side, and then something in the middle just to even get close to the truth. So,
Right.
And you got to do your own critical thinking. But I don't know why anybody would get their source from social media. That's really stupid.
I know. I got you. Fish, what do you got?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to understand the context of that poll a little bit more. So when someone says they get my news from social media, does that mean that they're just reading people's commentary and opinions? Is that where they're getting their news, or are they picking up, feeds and articles and things like that from social media? I don't know, but go ahead.
It says here.
Hold on real quick. There's no news stories. Not very many news stories on social media. It's more of a personal thing.
Personally, yeah, probably.
Look, just take Facebook. I want to interrupt you, Fish. Just want to point out something real quick on Facebook. Look at all the morons that say so-and-so died today.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That's a false news story.
Sure.
So how are you going to get your news from social media?
Yeah, if that's what they mean, then yeah, I'm with you. But I'm with you, Keith. Just do your own research, look up reputable news sources. Like you say, get different sides of it, get different opinions. That's what you should do. Like you say, you said it perfectly. Some people don't take the time to think critically. They just want to get the hot take scrolling through their feed or whatever it is. Like you say, they don't research it, they don't check for facts, and they go with it, and they retweet it or whatever it is, or they tell people, and that's how these type of things just continue.
I hate when people just repost stuff. They don't have any
it's laziness.
Any truth to it. Yeah, very lazy, and it's very irresponsible as well.
Yeah,
I mean, if you want to get the truth, go to Wikipedia. They can't lie at all.
Right, sure. Yeah, exactly.
You almost got both of us on that one for a second.
Right? It was quiet for a second.
So just from us, for older guys, don't get lazy, guys. Just look up articles.
Right.
Get the facts.
Do some thinking
out there. Exactly.
Review the source before you start wailing away on a
Ain't
topic.
That the truth?
If you're gonna get your news from one source, make it came from GenX. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
There you go.
That's what I would do. There you go.
Right.
All right. Good. That's a really good topic there. We could go so many different ways with that one, man. Thank you.
Yeah, sure could.
Hey, Fish here from It Came From GenX with Skinner and Keith. For every like and subscribe, you may win a free 1-year subscription to the AARP.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, you like to listen to your dad's friends talk? Then you might like this. We don't know if it's good or not good. We're gonna shoot it anyway. You damn kids better give us a like.
GenX.
That's right.
And these people are going to follow us to the new page.
Yep. That's pretty good.
I love it.
All right. Okay. Well, I guess we'll do another take if you want to. Okay.
That's our new TikTok right